Hello ladies and gentlemen, Scared204 here bringing you another Minecraft modern tutorial. In this tutorial we'll be going ahead and building the quote-unquote Chinese weather balloon that has been making a lot of national headlines. Basically this balloon here, kind of short story in case you aren't tracking, was a balloon that was apparently blown off course and ended up flying through the United States. There's a lot of speculation that it could have been a test balloon for Chinese spy equipment and all that, as there apparently has been a lack of weather equipment on it, and it definitely looked more of a surveillance type of balloon compared to that of other types of weather balloons we typically see. So there's a lot of question about regarding whether or not it was a spy instrument or not. The balloon was eventually shot down after it finished traversing the United States and was shot down in the Atlantic Ocean by an F-22. Overall, very interesting situation and kind of a weird one. After this balloon's been shot down, there's been a bunch of more unidentified type of who knows what that have been getting intercepted and shot down over the U.S. So kind of a lot of weird stuff going on right now. I don't know the full details, and I'm not going to speculate on what any of it is, but I thought that this would be just kind of a fun build to do because I thought it was kind of just meme-worthy over the whole situation and how big of a deal it was. Now, just a quick little side note here, this build is not exactly 2-to-1, and really, I don't even know if the measurements are exactly accurate. The measurements that a lot of places were theorizing was that it was about 60 meters tall, so I'm assuming that's from the bottom of the kind of observation equipment to the very top of the balloon. Again, I'm not 100% sure on the specifics on that or how it is. Again, these are just kind of rough estimates. This balloon kind of, I guess, would be closer to a 1-to-1 type scale of it. The building a 2-to-1 version, I think, is just over the top and extreme, and this balloon here, I think, just kind of does what you want to do, and it looks massive anyways. Beside that, so should be a pretty fun build and pretty interesting to throw in your worlds if you're looking for just kind of a meme build and kind of throw back to this little history part. I do have an F-22 tutorial as well, so if you want to look through the channel, it's a bit old, but you can look through the channel and find an F-22 to basically create a little scene of having this thing shot down. But let's go and dive in here and take a quick look at the weather balloon. There's not a whole lot really to cover because it's obviously pretty straightforward, but we'll go ahead and dive into it. So on the bottom here, we obviously have the surveillance equipment. This here is attached to the bottom of the balloon. It attaches to all the inner scaffolding and all that stuff, the skeleton of the balloon on the inside. You have the kind of main pod here, which is where the equipment would be housed. And I know it's a little bit hard to see here with shaders, but just how Minecraft is, it likes to cast these shadows. But we have basically the struts that go to the side here that are equipped with solar panels, and you have some of the cabling here and supports that kind of help just keep it stable and all that stuff. But overall, I think it's a pretty cool design for it. And then you have the balloon itself, which is going to be kind of the majority of this tutorial, trying to go ahead and fill out. So that's kind of going to be the main, I guess, headache to really worry about in this build. But for the most part, it should be pretty straightforward, and we get ourselves a pretty cool little Chinese quote-unquote weather balloon. Totally not a spy balloon. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and move into the tutorial. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into our first part of the tutorial, which is going to be covering how to go ahead and build the basically observation structure, or basically what is attached to the balloon. It's pretty simple structure wise, so we're just going to go ahead and combine it all in one go. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be placing down a black concrete block. Now this is going to be the very bottom here of our build. Well, not the very bottom, but very close to it. I would recommend, if you're building this up in the sky, to really make sure you have enough space between the top of the balloon and the bottom of this structure here. Again, the dimensions were listed at the beginning of the video, so go ahead and make sure that you refer back to those and make sure you have enough room to place this balloon. Anyways though, we have our black concrete here, and we're going to go ahead and place down a polished andesite block around all 4 sides of that black concrete block. We're going to go ahead and place down a light gray stainless paint in the corners of those blocks. And then below here, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves a polished andesite slab, which we'll go ahead and grab from our creative menu, and we're going to place down a top slab on the bottom of those full blocks. On the top here, we're going to place down another polished andesite full block, this time a polished andesite slab to all sides there. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 andesite walls up, a polished andesite full block, a block to all 4 sides of that polished andesite block on top. And then we're going to place down a light gray stainless pane like that wrapped around. That's going to be the base there that will connect up to our balloon. We're going to leave that alone for right now, and we're going to go ahead and basically work our way out to the sides here for the solar panels. So for these, we're going to start off by going ahead and place down 1 and 2 andesite walls, then a polished andesite full block, and then we're going to go ahead and place down another 1 and 2 and 3 andesite walls. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and take our andesite walls, and we want to go ahead and go 1, 2, 1, 2 in both directions. On top here, we're going to take our iron bars. We're going to place down 1, 2, 3. On the bottom here, 1, 2, 3. After that is done there, we're going to take our polished deep slate tiles or slabs, and we're going to place down 3 coming out. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then over here, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we're just going to place down gray carpet on top of those walls there. Then after that, we're going to place down another 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 walls to the side. And then we're going to go ahead and then place down 4 rows of 3 on both sides here for polished deep slate tiles. And of course our gray carpet on top of those walls to go ahead and flush that all together. Now after that, we're going to go ahead and then take our andesite walls, and we're going to go ahead and go out an additional 1, 2, and 3 walls, and then again we're going to place down 2 rows of 3 of our polished deep slate slabs to the sides here. We're going back. So it's going to look like that. And then again, we're going to place down our gray carpet right there in the center. Now after that's done, we're going to place down another andesite wall here, a iron bar to both sides, and then we're going to place down 1 and 2 end rods coming off that andesite wall, and then a skeleton skull like that on the tip here. We're also going to go ahead and take our end rods, and we want to go ahead and go to the bottom of this wall right here. We're going to place down 2 end rods that go down like so. We're also going to place down 2 end rods that go down from this wall right here on the tip. Then this wall right here, again, we're going to place down 2 end rods down. Then on this iron bar, the center one, we're going to go ahead and place down 1 and 2 blocks down. Delete that first block, and then we're going to place down an end rod on top of that block like so. And that is going to make those end rods. We're going to go and then grab ourselves a chain. And for cabling here, we're going to place down a row of chain that's going to go between these end rods across the bottom here. And you're going to take that all the way to this side. And then we're going to go and then go from this end rod, we're going to place down 1 here. And then one that goes up at an angle, just like that. And that's going to form that cabling on the bottom there. Then on the top, we're going to go ahead and place down a skeleton skull on top of this wall right here. And we're going to go ahead and then place down 2 chains coming off of it, 1, 2, out to the side. We're going to go ahead and then go up a block and then out toward the middle of the build with 2 chains like that. And we're going to go and basically repeat this pattern, or repeat that pattern twice. So we have that pattern already set up. Then we have a row of 3. Then we're going to go ahead and go up again. And we're going to go 2. And then one more time. Another row of 2. Then we're going to place down another row of 3. Then a row of 2. And then lastly, a row of 2. That's going to come off that wall right there. And that's going to basically complete our cabling there for our structure. Now, that right there is pretty much all you need to do really for the basically observation platform here. You're going to take the same design that we did on this side and just copy it over to the other side. Since it's the same thing on both sides and pretty straightforward, I'm not going to go ahead and do the other side on camera. However, I will show you guys the finished product once you flip this side over to the other side. So again, you can go back to the start of this layer and go ahead and just build what we did on this side here over to the other side. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get the other side put on, and then I'll see you guys when I have that finished. And once you have the other side copied over, this right here is what we should have for our observation platform here on the bottom of the balloon. That right there is pretty much the easiest part of this build. We're going to be going ahead and kind of, well, I don't want to say the easiest, but we're going to be going ahead and moving into the spear part, which is going to be a lot more difficult. So just kind of heads up, it's going to be a lot of tedious work, and it's going to take a lot of just real close paying attention on your part to make sure that everything gets set up properly. But without further ado, let's go ahead and move into building the sphere for the balloon. Alright guys, so moving into the balloon. Now the way we're going to go and structure this is I'm going to build basically a quarter of it on camera. What this means, I'm going to basically build the lower kind of eighth section and then the top eighth. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail once we get to that part. However, for the time being right now, we're going to be going ahead and working on setting up our major outlines, such as our basically two circumferences and kind of use that as a way to kind of get everything set up. Now, to make this easier for you guys tutorial wise, and it might be a good idea to do it yourself and then change it later on, for the centers of this circle, we'll be going ahead and using red wool to kind of highlight those centers and make it a little bit easier to kind of go ahead and build off of. But for us to go ahead and get started with, we're going to be going ahead and copying this basically part of the circle. So we're going to start on this one side. Now we're going to go ahead and start by going ahead and placing down a block here on top of this stone block. We're going to go ahead and then go out a total of 5 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to go ahead and go up 3 and out to the side. We're going to go ahead and then go up and 3 again out to the side. We're going to go ahead and do 1, then 2, then we're going to go ahead and do 1 again, and we're going to do 2 again. Then we're going to go ahead and do 1, and then this time we're going to go ahead and do 2 up. So we're going to have 1 and 2 blocks that go up like that. Up again, 1, up again and out, 2, then up again, 1, and then this time we're going to go and go up, and again out 3, or up 3. So like that. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and then place down another row up, and then 3 out of the side here. And then we're going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So just like that, it's going to bring us to that point there. And then our very center of our balloon here is going to be, we'll use a different color to help mark it, just to kind of help, again, use that for reference. So we're going to go ahead and use yellow wool. So yellow wool there is going to mark that center point. So again, we have our it's supposed to be 5 blocks up, and then our 6th block there is going to be that yellow wool. And also, for the sake of things too, we'll also do the same thing down here, like that. So that's going to go ahead and get us started there for that first quarter. We're going to go ahead and basically take the same thing and do it to the top here. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then after that, if the server will cooperate with me here, we're going to do 3 up, and then 3 again. We're going to go ahead and then do 1, and then we're going to do 2, then 1 again, and 2. And then we want to place down 1. And then we're going to go ahead and do 2. 1. And then 2. So again, we're creating that curve and bringing it toward the middle here. And then we have 1. And we have, this is going to be a row of 3. So row 3, and then another row of 3. Then we're going to go up. We have our row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that center block here is going to be a yellow wool block. And once you have that basically done right there, you're going to go ahead and take the same thing and copy it over to the other side. And just like that, we have both sides transferred over, and we have this big circle. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go ahead and then do the cross section here. So we're going to go ahead and basically do the same design that we did going up, basically out to the sides now. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then after those 5, we want to go ahead and then go up 1, 2, 3, up again, 1, 2, 3. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we have 1. Then we're going to go ahead and start going up now. So it's going to go up 2, out, up 1, 2, 1, and then we have 3, 3, and then 5. And then our 6th block there, again, going to be that yellow wool. Then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and bring this all the way up to the top, doing the same thing. So 1, 2, 3, like that. Then, sorry, my bad. It's supposed to be 5. And then after those 5, we're going to go ahead and again continue to bring that across there. and connect it up. And then after we have this all done, we're going to go ahead and do our line that's going to go across there. So we have our 5 going up. We're going to go and then go 3, 3. Then we have 1, 2. Once this loads again, hopefully, we have 1, and then 2 again, and then this is going to be 1, and then we're going to start bringing it over. So 2, 1, 2, 1, and it's going to be 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And just like that, that connects us up to the top there. And then we want to go and take this half here, and we're going to go and copy it over to the other side. And once you have the other side over, you'll get basically these two kind of circles, these two rings interconnecting to go ahead and help get us set up for our basis here. Now, the last thing I'm going to have us do here is we're going to go ahead and create the circle that's going to link all of these together for the center here. And again, this is going to be just, again, for our referencing later on. So for this, we're going to go ahead and go to this yellow block. We're going to go and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out to the side here. And that will basically start that. And it's going to be the same thing since it's a sphere. So it's going to be 3, 3, 1, 2, 1. And then, of course, we're going to go and continue on once Minecraft decides to load. And then we have another 2. Then we have 1. This time we're going to bring it toward. So we have 2. Then we have 1, 2, 1, and then 3, 3, and 5. It's going to bring us all the way over there and connect up to that section there. And then we're going to do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have 3, 3, 1. So we have 1, and then we have 2, 1, 2, 1, and then we have 2 again. We're going to start going in toward the other ring. 1, 2, 1. We have 3, 3, and 5. Bring us all the way home and connect it up to there. Again, just like we did before, you're going to take that same design there and flip it over to your other side. And once you have that transferred over to the other side, this is going to basically set up our skeleton here that we're going to be working with for the balloon. As I mentioned, I'm going to be going ahead and doing one quarter of the balloon, which means I'll be going ahead and doing this bottom section here and then this top section. It'll be up to you guys in between these layers to go ahead, or actually once they're all done, to go ahead and do the remaining 3 sides of the balloon all the way around to go ahead and get a complete project. For the balloon materials, I will be using a solid white concrete block throughout the entire build. I would recommend going ahead and using a palette or a mixed kind of palette, such as using white concrete and wool. I found it makes a really nice kind of combination. As you can see, for the balloon over there, it kind of gives it a textured look, which helps kind of break up the monotoneness of not having that. So again, I would strongly recommend going ahead and doing that. And with that, we're going to be going ahead and moving on to the balloon and building up these sections. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and get started with this. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to be going ahead and basically filling in the lines here and basically forming the balloon. Again, you can use the color palette of mixed white wool and white concrete. For me, though, I'm going to be using just solid white concrete just to make it easier on myself, so I'm not having to randomize the blocks, but just know that is an option to you. Again, we'll be building this top section here and this bottom section going forward. To begin with, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go ahead and then place down another row of 4. So you have 2 rows of 4 there. We're going to go ahead and then place down a row of 2, and then another row of 2, like that. After those rows of 2 there, you're going to go ahead and place down one more row of 2. So 1, 2, and then this is going to transition here into a into one on the corner. So you're going to go ahead and just place down 1 here, and then 1 right here. Now the center point here, we're going to place down a white concrete block here, then 1 like that, and 1 like that. We're going to go ahead and then place down 1, 1, and then following our outline like here, 1, 2, 1, 2, then 1, 2, and then we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, and actually, sorry, it's going to be 4. So 4, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's going to connect us to the middle there. We're going to do the same thing going down from this. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have our next row here, which is going to be 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. We have our block here. So we're going to do 1, 2 again. 1, 2, 1. And then 1. And then you're going to go and go 2. And then 1 back from this block. Then we're going to place down 1 here. 1, 2, 2, 2, 4. And again, 4, bring us all the way to connect like that. So that right there is going to basically create your top and bottom line that we need to get started here with the balloon. So yeah, it's just going to go ahead and sit like that, and that is all we have here for this section or layer. We'll go ahead and move on to our next layer. So moving into our next layer, we'll be moving into layer number 2. For layer 2 here, we're going to go ahead and start off by basically following our outline. So we're going to go and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then it's going to be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1, like that going across. Then it's going to be 1, 2 here, 1, 2, and again, just following our outline all the way like this. We have 4, 4, and then we're going to do the same thing going down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to basically fill in those two, or that layer there, are basically going up and down, and that right there is going to complete what we have there for layer 2, and let's go ahead and move on up to layer number 3. Alright guys, so moving into our next layer, we have layer number 3. So for layer 3 here, we're going to go ahead and basically follow our outline exactly. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go do the same thing on the bottom here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So pretty simple layer there. Layer 3's really nice, simple, just going off what we did before. And with that, let's move on to layer 2. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 4. For layer 4 to start with, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then our next row here is going to be a row of 3. So we're going to go ahead and go in here and do 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to go ahead and do a row of 2. So you have 1, 2, 1. Then after that, we're going to do 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 across. Then it's going to transition into a 1, 2 again. Then we have 1, 1, 2. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, connecting us to the other side. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing going downwards. So we have 1, 2, 3. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 1, 2, 3. After that, we have 1, 2. Then we have 1. Then 1, 2 again. And then this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 diagonal. Then we have 1, 2 back. 1, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, connecting us to that center point. And that right there is going to wrap up what we have there for this section. Again, here's what you should have so far, kind of an appearance. So if you want to go and take a time out here, just kind of go ahead and verify everything is lined up for you and all that good stuff. And once you're good to go and everything, that's going to complete layer 4 there of building that up, and we'll be moving on to layer number 5. Alright guys, moving into our next layer, we have layer number 5. For layer 5 to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 blocks like that. That's going to kind of be back from this one, so kind of behind it, like so. We're going to go ahead then place down a total of 2. So you have 1, 2. Then after those 2, we're going to go ahead and then do an additional 4 rows of 2. So, or additional 3 more. So we have 1, 2. We have 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. This here is going to go ahead and then bring us to this section here. We're going to place down a diagonal of 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to go ahead and do our row that's going to bring us across and connect us. So after that fourth kind of segment of 2, we're going to go ahead and then basically do our row that's going to bring us all the way and connect us here. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 white concrete connecting us there to that point. Again, we're going to do the same thing on the bottom here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to go and do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we have a diagonal of 1, 2, 3, 4. And then again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. And then we have our row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bringing us all the way up to that point there. And that right there is going to wrap up what we have for that layer there, layer 5. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on up to layer number 6. Okay, so moving into our next segment here, we're going to start with our white concrete, and we're going to be going ahead and placing down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks, going ahead and going off that center block there. We then want to go ahead and do a segment of 3, so 1, 2, 3. And then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and do 2 segments of 2. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. However, at this section here, we're going to go ahead and then do a segment of 2 diagonal. So you have 1 and 2 like that. Now after those 2 diagonal ones, we're going to go ahead and then place down 1 and 2 like this. And then we're going to go ahead and do 1 and 2 this way. We're going to do our 2 diagonals again. After those 2 diagonals, we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2 blocks, 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us to our center. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing going down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to go ahead and do our diagonals. So we have 1, 1. And then we have our 1 and 2, 1, 2. And then we have our diagonal, 1. And then we have 1, 2, 1, 2. And this can be 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us up like that. And that will basically be everything we need to complete there for layer 6 there. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to layer number 7. Moving into our next segment, we have layer 7. Layer 7 here, we're going to go ahead and go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks like this across. We're going to go ahead and then do 1, 2, 3. After that segment of 3, we're going to go ahead and then do 3 rows of 2. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, just like that. Then after that is complete there, we're going to go ahead and do a diagonal of 5 blocks. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be then 2, 2, and then 2. And then we have our 1, 2, 3, and then our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, connecting us up to our center. Going down to the bottom here, we're going to do the same thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 1, 2. And again, that's 3 segments of the 1, 2. So we have 3 of those. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 diagonal ones. Then we're going to do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is going to continue to form up that wall around the balloon. So yep, that right there is everything we have there for layer 8, and let's move on up to layer 9. Alright guys, so our next row here is actually going to be layer 8. So for layer 8 to start with, we want to go ahead and begin with by placing down 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go ahead and transition into a, this can be a segment of 3, and then it's going to be a segment of 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then after that, we want to go ahead and continue on with another row of 3. So 1, 2, 3. After that row of 3, we're going to go ahead and then go to a row of 2. So we have 1, 2, then it's going to be 1, and then 1, 2 again. And then we're going to do our diagonal here of 1, 2, 3 blocks. Then we have again 1, 2, 1, and then this is going to be 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3 connecting us up to that block there. We're going to go ahead and go to the bottom here of our balloon, and we're going to do the same thing. So we have 1, 2, 3. Then we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we have 1, 2, 3 again. And then we have 2, 1, and 2. And then it's going to be 1, 2, 3 diagonal. We have 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, connecting this back to our other side. And that right there is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer 3. And with that, let's go ahead and continue on, or sorry, not layer 3, layer 8. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to layer number 9. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 9. So for layer 9 here, we're going to go ahead and take our white concrete, and we're going to do a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 off that center line there. We're going to go ahead and then do a row of 3. So 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go and do 2 rows of 2. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. After those 2 rows of 2, we're going to go ahead and then do a diagonal of 6 this time. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 diagonal blocks. Then we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So just like that. And we're going to do the same thing obviously on the bottom. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we have our 1, 2, 3. Then our 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 diagonal blocks. We're going to go ahead and again place down 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. So after our third one, 4, 5, 6. So that's going to connect us all together there and continue to form up our balloon. Now it's a lot of work here, but we're slowly getting it put together, and we kind of are getting closer and closer to that halfway point of doing these two sides. I know it's a lot of work. It kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is when it comes to these circles and building these type of balloons. So anyways, that is it for layer 9, and let's move on to 10. Moving on to layer 10, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to place down a row of 1, 2, 3, and 4 blocks. We're going to go ahead and repeat that with another row of 4, like this, going toward the inside. After that row of 4, we're going to go ahead and do 2 rows of 2. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2. We're going to go ahead and then do 1 diagonal, and then 1 more row of 2, like that out to the side there. After that row of 2 there, we're going to go ahead and then do 2 diagonal blocks. So 1, 2. Then we have 1, 2 blocks. We have 1. And then we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4 connected to our center there. Going to the bottom here, we're going to do basically the same thing. So we're going to go and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're going to do 1, and then 1, 2, 2 diagonal, so 1, 2, 1, 2 blocks, 1 diagonal, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, bringing us to the other side there. And after we have that done there, that is going to wrap up everything we have there for layer 10. And with that, we'll go ahead and head on up to layer number 11. Moving into our next layer, we have layer 11. For layer 11, to go ahead and get started with here, we're going to go and start off with a row of 6. It's going to be kind of indented from that center line, so kind of behind it there. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. After that, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 3. So we have 1, 2, 3. After that row of 3, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 2. 1, 2. Then we're going to do 1 diagonal, and another row of 2, like that after that. We then want to go ahead and then do 3 diagonal blocks. So we're going to go and do 1, 2, and 3 diagonal. Then 1, 2, going back, another block like this. And then we're going to go and do 1, 2 again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 again, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like that. Going to connect us to the side there. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing going down. So we're going to go and do our row of 6 here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then it's going to be followed up with a row of 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to go ahead and then do a row of 2. So 1, 2. Then it's going to be 1 diagonal, and then a row of 2 there. And then it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 diagonal blocks. 1, 2, 1 diagonal block, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us to our center there. And after we have that done on both sides there, we're going to go ahead and move on to our next segment of the build. Moving into our next segment, we have layer 12. For layer 12, we're going to go ahead and begin with by going ahead and placing down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4. After that row of 4, we're going to go ahead and do a second row of 4, like so. And then we want to go ahead and then do 2 rows of 2. So 1 and 2. Now, once you have that done, we're going to go ahead and then place down a diagonal. So we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 diagonal blocks. We're going to do 1, 2 again, 1, 2, and then we want to go ahead and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, connecting us to the center line. We're going to do the same thing on the bottom here. So again, we have the row of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have a second row of 4. And after that second row of 4, we have 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 blocks diagonal. Then again, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, connecting us to the balloon like that. And after that is all done, that's it for layer 12, and let's move on to layer number 13. For layer 13, we're going to go ahead and begin by going ahead and take our white concrete. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 out to the side there. We're going to go ahead and then do a row of 3. So 1, 2, 3. After that row of 3, we're going to go ahead and then do a 1 diagonal. So we have diagonal 1, then we have 1, 2, then another diagonal of 1, and then 1, 2 again. After we have that done, we want to go ahead and then place down 1, 2 blocks going this way, diagonal, and then another 2 blocks, another diagonal, this time a row of 3 blocks, and then we're going to go and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us to that center line. And that's going to be that next row. We're going to go ahead and go to the bottom here and do the same exact thing. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3. We have the 1 diagonal. Then we have 1, 2, the diagonal, and 1, 2. Again, we're going to go ahead and then do 1, 2, diagonal, 1, 2, diagonal, and then 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us back up to our center. And that right there is going to complete what we have there for layer number 14, I believe at this point, or 13, losing track, but the counter up in the top left is always going to be correct. But yeah, this is what it should look like so far, so just kind of take some time if you need to, just make sure everything's kind of lining up and looking good. Yeah, that right there is it for this segment, and let's move on to the next one. Moving into our next segment, we're going to go ahead and take our white concrete, and we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 white concrete along like that. Our next segment here is going to be a row of 4. So we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, 4. After those 4 there, we're going to go into 2 rows of 2. So we have 1 and 1 like that. We're going to go ahead and do 1 diagonal, then another row of 2, 1 diagonal, and then we're going to go ahead and do our other side here. So we have 1, 2, diagonal, 1, 2, 1, 2, and this is going to be a row of 1, 2, 3 blocks, or 4 maybe? Yeah, 4. And then it's going to be 1, 2, 3 like that. So that's going to connect us all together. So going down to this section down on the bottom here, again, we have our 1, 2, 3. Then we have our 4. After that 4 there, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 2. Then we have 1. Then we have 2. Directly after that, or my bad, actually, this is going to be 2 rows of 2, so my bad there. Then we have the 1, and then we have the 2, and then we have the 1 like that. We're going to go ahead and go to our other side. 1, 2, 1 diagonal, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and, or sorry, 4, and then it's going to be 1, 2, 3, connecting this to that side. So that right there is going to complete that there, and we'll go ahead and continue on up to the next one. So going ahead and moving on to our next segment here, we're going to go ahead and start off by going ahead and taking our white concrete, and we're going to go do a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 3, so like that. Then we want to go ahead and do a row of 2. Then we're going to do 1. After that, we're going to go ahead and then do 2, and then 1 and 1 diagonal. Then we have 2. Then we have 1. We have 2. Then we have 3. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's going to connect us there. Then our next row kind of going down to the bottom here, we're going to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's going to be like that. And then we're going to go and do 1 diagonal. Then we're going to go and do 1, 2. And then we're going to do 1 diagonal. And then a second. 1, 2. A diagonal. 1, 2. And then 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connecting us to that center. And that right there is going to do it for the top and bottom for that segment there. And we'll move on to our next one. And go ahead and continue on to our next segment up. We're going to go ahead and then do a row of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We then want to do a row of 3. Like that. Then we're going to go and do a row of 2. 1, 2. And then we're going to do 1. And then 1, 2 like that. Connect us to this point here. And then we're going to just go ahead and do 1 here in the center. Like that. So going to be another 1, 2 like this here. Then we have 1. And then 1, 2, and then we have 3, so 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, connecting us like that. And with that connected there, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the bottom here. So again, we're going to go and do our 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then our 3, 1, 2, 3, then we have our 2, we have our 1, and we have another 2, like this. And then we have our 1 right here, and same thing right here, 1. So we have the 1 right there. Then we're going to go and do 2 right like that. Then 1 over. Then we're going to go and do 2. And then we want to go and do 3. And we want to go and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just like that, to go ahead and do both the top and bottom. And with that, we'll be going ahead and moving on to our next layer going up. All right, so going ahead and continuing on, we're going to go ahead and place down a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks going across that space there. We're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, and then we're going to do 1, 2 again, just like that. After that, we want to go ahead and then do a row of 3 that's going to go across. So we have 1, or rather, we have a diagonal here that's going to be actually a total of 5 blocks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're going to go ahead and then do 1, 2. Then we have 1, 2. And then we have our long row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, connecting us up to that side there. Now you will notice that we do have these little gaps here. We are going to go ahead and fill this in with some white concrete, just like that, to go ahead and fill those gaps in. And then obviously we're going to do the same thing here on the bottom as well. We're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have our segment of 2. So 1, 2, and actually, sorry, it's going to be 3 there. Actually, but probably better if I just go up here to the top. And it's supposed to be a segment of 2. I just messed up, and this right here is supposed to be a row 6. So we have a row 6, we have our 2, and then we have another 2. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diagonal. We have 2, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, bringing us to the other side. And again, of course, don't forget to fill in these gaps, just like that. After that is done there, we'll be going ahead and moving up to our next row, going up on the build. Moving on up to our next segment, we're going to go ahead and place down 1 right here. After that, we want to go ahead and then place down a row of 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that segment of 5, we're going to go ahead and then do 2 rows of 2. So we have 1, 2, and 1, 2, like that across. After those rows there, we're just going to go ahead and do a diagonal of 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So we have diagonal of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bringing us all the way across there and connecting us up like that. Or actually, sorry, 5. And then we have the 1. So like that. Then on the bottom here, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. So we have our 1. Then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have the 1, 2, 1, 2, and then a diagonal of 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 1, 2, and then our row again of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 1 block right there. So just like that, and that will complete that row there, or that layer, and we'll move on up to our next one. Moving into our next layer, we're going to go ahead and take our white concrete, and we're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 across right there. We're going to go ahead and then do a row of 3. So we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3, and then we want to go ahead and do 1 and 1 diagonal. And then after those diagonal rows there, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 1 and 2, and then we're going to go ahead and go over 1. We're going to do our diagonal 2 rows like so, and then we have a row of 1, 2, 3, and then we have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, connecting us like so. We're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the bottom here. So we have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 1, 2, and then 1 over, like that. We're going to have our 2 diagonal blocks again. Our segment of 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, connect just like so. Like before, if you have any of these gaps here, like you see, we're going to go ahead and take our white concrete and just fill that in. That's going to be using the row that we did before. So we're just going to go ahead and kind of build off of that and expand upon it. And obviously the same thing will be done up here. Just like that, filling in these gaps. Like that. And once you have that all done, that's going to complete that layer there. And we'll go ahead and move on to our next one. As you can see, we're really getting close to finishing this off. We're kind of getting to our last segment of layers up here on the top. So we're getting really close, and let's go ahead and continue on. Moving into our next segment, we're going to go ahead and start off with our white concrete. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across. After that, we're going to go ahead and then do 1, 2. Then we're going to do 1, 2, and 3 diagonal blocks. Just like that, or sorry, my bad. It's going to be a second row of 2. So it's going to be 1, 2, and then it's going to be 1, 2, and 3 diagonal blocks. Then again, 1, 2 blocks, the second row of 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connecting up to there. On the bottom here, it's going to be basically the same thing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we're going to go ahead and do 1, 2, 3 diagonal, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 connecting us there. Again, we're going to go ahead and fill in any of the empty spots that are left open. Also, same thing up here. We'll make sure that gets filled in like that. But just go ahead and make sure you fill in those gaps there. And obviously, same thing up here. Using that previous row, we're just going to go ahead and add on to it. And it should just be those 2 gaps that we need to fill in. Anyways, though, that right there is going to conclude what we have there for that layer. And we'll be moving on up to our next one. All right, moving into our next segment, we're going to go ahead and place down 1, 2, 3 blocks here. We're going to go ahead and then place down a second row of 3. After we have that second row of 3, we're going to go ahead and then do a row of 2, and then it's going to be a diagonal of 3. So we're going to do 2, then 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to go and do another 2 blocks, then 3, and 3, like that, connecting us up there. And we're going to do the same thing on the bottom here. So we're going to go and do our 1, 2, 3, then over 1, 2, 3. Then we have our 1, 2, and then we have our diagonal of 3. So 1, 2, 3. Then we have 2, then 3, and then connected up here we'll have another 3, just like that. Again, like before, we'll fill in any gaps that are left open now in the balloon from the previous layer. And obviously same thing we'll do up here as well. So just like that. And after you have that all filled in, that's going to complete that layer there. And we'll go ahead and continue on up to our next one. Moving into our next segment, we're going to go ahead and take our white concrete. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we want to go ahead and do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Then 1, 2, like this. Then we have 1, 2 again. And then this is going to connect up 1, 2, 3, 4. And same thing on the bottom here. We're going to go all the way down. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4, our 1, 2, 1, 2, our 1, and then again 1, 2, 1, 2, and then bring this all the way across here and connect it up like that. Again, we'll fill in these gaps here that are left open from the previous layer. So just like that, and we'll do the same thing up here on top. So just like that. And that has that segment filled in, and we only have 3 more segments to go before we have everything finished off. So let's go ahead and move into our next one. I guess moving into our next segment, we're going to take our white concrete. We're going to go ahead and do a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, going across just like that. Then after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and do a row of 2. So over 1, 2, then we're going to do 1 and 2 diagonals, then 2 blocks. And again, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Going down here, we're going to do the same thing. Getting off that center block there, we have 4. We have 2. We have 1, 2 diagonal. We have 2 again, and then 4. Bring us all the way connecting there. Again, we'll fill in the previous space like so. And we'll do the same thing up on top. Fill in those gaps. So just like that. And with that, we have that all filled in. And we'll go ahead and move into our second to last layer. Moving into our second to last segment, we're going to go and start off with 1, 2, 3. Then we want to go ahead and do 1, 2, 1. Then 1, 2, and 3, like that across to connect over there. And we're going to go ahead and go down here, and we're going to do the same thing. So we have 1, 2, 3. Then we have 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3. Connect this up like that. Again, we'll fill in these spaces like so to close that off, and we'll go ahead and go up to the top here and do the same thing. So again, just kind of closing this off like so. And you have that all filled in like that. And lastly, we'll be going ahead and moving into our last final layer of the build and going ahead and wrapping up this project. Alright guys, so going ahead and moving into our last final layer of the build. We're going to be going ahead and going up to the top here. We're going to go ahead and build 1, 2, 3 coming off here, and 1, 2, 3 coming off this segment. We're going to go ahead and go to the bottom and do the same exact thing. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And after you have that done, we'll go ahead and obviously fill in from the previous layer the empty space that's left over. So just like that. And then we're also going to fill in this bottom segment like that and completely fill that in. Then we can go up to the top and do the same exact thing. So once we have this filled in here, we're going to go ahead and very simply fill in this top space here. And once you have that all done, that is going to complete your quarter segment of the balloon. As you can tell, a lot of work. It's definitely not a fun project, to say the very least, as it's quite a big thing we're building. A large sphere, never kind of easy to really do, and just really kind of tedious work building up these layers and layers. But once you have this side done, you're just going to be taking that same design and transitioning around to all 4 sides. And once you have that all done, you'll have this completed sphere. Again, just a little quick look. You can see I went ahead and used white concrete all for this segment. And on the other side here, you can see I went ahead and used the mixture of white wool and concrete. As you can see, it kind of creates a better look to it, a better texture and all that stuff. So I would definitely recommend trying to incorporate that on the other side, but I would understand if you just want to go ahead and do it one block too. That's completely good. Do make sure any red lines or anything that you did here for your outline is also replaced with those blocks. You don't want those blocks sticking around after the build is completed. So just make sure you try to get rid of those if you can. Anyways, though, that is going to wrap up everything we have here for this tutorial. The rest is up to you guys to go ahead and copy around for the rest of the build. Hope you guys do enjoy this unique little build here. Something kind of interesting, something a little bit different to throw out there on the channel. And, you know, hopefully it's a fun build you can incorporate in your worlds and just kind of relive a kind of, I guess, funny modern event. Anyways, though, with that all done, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you do use this design, I do ask that you guys give me proper credit for this tutorial. This can be a thing from a side of the build, link to my channel or this video. Just basically saying that I was the original creator for this build. This tutorial, I'm gonna be straight up honest, really sucked to record. That sphere is absolutely brutal to record, and I did this all in one sitting. And yeah, not fun. So definitely please 100% give me credit if you do end up using this build. Really do appreciate it. Anyways, though, that is going to wrap up this build. Thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Garrett 2x4, and I'll see you guys next time.